Sean Strickland is the perfect style and is going to dismantle, shut down, embarrass, break, and finish Anthony Hernandez at the weekend. And I've been saying this for a long time. I think Sean Strickland's a great fighter. And I am fucking stoked for this fucking fight. It is good to have the UFC back. It just, in the last 2 months, we've barely had any UFC. So to have a decent fight night card and to have a good main event is absolutely sick. But that's where we're going to start. That's where we're going to start with this. We're going to start with the main event here. Sean Strickland versus Anthony Hernandez. Massive, massive fight in middleweight division. It will be a number one contender fight if Anthony Hernandez is going to get this one done. I'm not writing Fluffy out completely, but I am confident in the pick that is Sean Strickland. So, I've been rewatching a few of their fights. I was already kind of very accustomed, very used to Sean Strickland's style. You know, the cocksucker guard, as Matt Hardy said. It was kind of teeps, it was jabs, it was quite forward pressure. That's Strickland's game. Anthony Hernandez is much more, he's like this, he's kind of a little bit more fluid, he's able to mix in the grappling, and Fluffy has been finishing loads of people. The Roma Delice kind of dragging, you know, standing rear naked was absolutely insane. But there's one fight people aren't talking about enough, and I have a little bit of beef with the actual fight itself. It was the Brendan Allen fight. Now, if we all know Brendan Allen can't help but fuck up a win. Brendan Allen loves to fuck up a win. He's so good. He's so talented. But whenever Brendan Allen fucking realizes he's winning, oh, me? I'm winning? Let me fuck it up. He just fucks up every single win that he could possibly have. He fucked up the Imavov fight. I wouldn't say he fucked up the Hernandez fight, but he won the first round. He looked very good in the first round. And my beef with that fight was, I re-listened to the commentary team. Fuck me, Michael Bisping was saying, yeah, this guy reminds me a bit of a Chris Weidman back in the day. He lost the first round. It was a close second. But Anthony Hernandez obviously clearly won the fight. But Fluffy's much more... I felt like Fluffy also kind of gassed a little bit in that fight. He pulled out of the Reign of the Ritter fight. I am so confident Sean Strickland's going to get this one done. I think Strickland's underrated. I think Strickland's forward pressure is going to be the death of Anthony Hernandez. I really, really do. I'm going to zoom in a little bit here just for you guys to see the fighters a little bit better. I think the forward pressure of Sean Strickland is going to break Anthony Hernandez. I think the forward pressure of Sean Strickland is going to be too much. When Hernandez shoots, I am going to be confident that Sean Strickland has showed throughout his whole career. The Dricus du Plessis fight, I watched that as well. The second fight, it was just striking. A lot of kicks, sort of kind of question mark kicks, a lot of head kicks. And he just had better moments. I think Dricus really figured Strickland out in the second fight. Where Strickland in the first fight held up with the takedown defense. Nobody's held down Sean Strickland. I'm sorry for just doing all this. Nobody's held down Sean Strickland. Nobody's been able to get the better of Sean Strickland really in grappling in any fucking fight. If you're going to beat Sean Strickland, I feel like it's in the striking. If I'm being honest with you, Dricus beat him in the striking. The takedowns in the first fight were interesting, but I definitely feel like Dricus landed more damage. Sean was active on the feet. It was a very, very close fight. Sean definitely pressing forward gave the judges a lot to think about. Gave them a lot to think about. But Anthony Hernandez is not Dricus du Plessis. Thankfully, okay? Fluffy's skillful. Fluffy's dangerous. Fluffy's good. I don't think Fluffy is on Strickland level. And the fact that he just pulled out of the Ordior fight, Reign of the Ritter fight, it's not filling me with confidence. It's not filling me with, oh shit, I think Anthony Hernandez is ready to go. This is a massive step up from Rome Delici. I'm sorry, it just is. And I have no confidence in Rome Delici being a comparable opponent to Sean Strickland. It's just not on. It's just not on. The Brendan Allen fight showed me a lot, because Brendan Allen was able to reverse. Brendan Allen was able to even get in some rear nakeds, but Fluffy's was kind of like slick on the ground, very good at getting out of submissions. But Strickland's forward pressure is the one thing I think Fluffy's going to have a problem with when they have to strike, because Fluffy is going to be forced to strike in this fight. I think that's what people aren't really understanding here is Strickland's takedowns are bulletproof. They're bulletproof. And that's where I'm thinking Fluffy's going to struggle. When he can't get Sean Strickland down, and this is a 5-rounder, keep in mind, Strickland's gone 5 rounds how many times? He had a very boring fight with Paulo Costa. Very, very boring fight, kind of teeped and jabbed. And you know Strickland doesn't change anything. It just works. It just works because Sean's jab is extremely effective. Sean's jab, honestly, Sean, hear me out before you jump to conclusion here. Sean almost reminds me of Colby Covington in a way where he's just constantly throwing 65% on his punches and he's able to land a lot of output. Colby Covington's striking, I should say. He doesn't really remind me of his wrestling because Strickland never shoots offensive grappling ever. Okay, and he's not going to start here because Fluffy can wrap Strickland up. He can wrap anybody up on the ground, okay? But I just think this is one of those fights where I'm going to look back and say, holy shit, some people are saying we need to book the Anthony Hernandez Khamzat Chimaev fight because Fluffy might wrap him up on the ground. No. I don't see it, bro. I don't see it. And especially since he's coming off pulling out. He got rewarded for pulling out, which is crazy. They're trying to push Anthony Hernandez. I think this is a stylistic dream for Sean Strickland. I think the forward pressure is going to break Anthony Hernandez. I think the fact that Strickland's got bulletproof takedown defense is going to break Anthony Hernandez. And I think when Strickland starts landing a little bit more furiously later on the rounds, I feel like he'll take a few early rounds off, maybe the first round off, start peppering them, kind of figure out the range, throw the jab, throw the kicks. That's when Fluffy's going to start shooting in. And Strickland's got solid takedown defense. I have never question Sean Strickland's takedown defense because he is bulletproof with the defense. The Dricus fight, I know Dricus obviously when Khamzat butchered him, okay, that wasn't even close. When Khamzat just laid on him, it didn't actually exactly look impressive, but this guy was taking down Robert Whittaker, submitted Israel Adesanya. He was very good on the ground, very good on the ground. And the fact he was able to do that, and Strickland showed the best defensive wrestling out of all of them, tells me a lot. And for Fluffy, I think it's a long night in the office. I think once he kind of realizes he can't take Strickland down, I think that's when Strickland's really going to turn on the engineer, and that's when I think he's going to move forward and start breaking Anthony Hernandez. In the second, third, fourth, in the second specifically, I can definitely see Strickland being a little bit more, kind of letting his hands go that little bit extra, and that's when Fluffy's going to really get confused, and that's when Fluffy's really going to start to back up, and that's just going to expose himself even more. And it's when Fluffy starts chucking in those sloppy takedowns just to score points, or even just those takedowns are just going in to get takedowns. That's when Sean Strickland's going to take over this fight. And I'm going with Sean Strickland via 4th round TKO. Now I don't exactly have much confidence in Sean Strickland TKOing someone. It's a bold play, but I'm confident in Strickland in this fight. I haven't been as confident in an opponent in a long time. I think this is a very good style for Sean, and I think this is one you want to look out for if you're betting on this fight. I'd probably leave it alone. I don't think Fluffy has this offensive striking, bro. I don't think Fluffy has the offensive striking. I think Strickland has the takedown defense, and I think it's going to be work. Bro, and big up Sean Strickland. I don't really like you, but I hope he beat Anthony Hernandez, because I don't know, something about Fluffy I'm just not really a big fan of. Maybe it's because everyone's hyping him up to be up here, and I'm just like, I haven't seen it, bro. Everyone just relax. We're going to get to it. But yeah, I'm going Sean Strickland via 4th round TKO. Maybe a decision, possibly a decision. It's, I just kind of feel like Fluffy's going to gas, and then that's when Strickland's going to take over, and that's when Strickland's going to find it. Bro, and I'm confident in that. Jeff Neal. Now, this is actually a sick fucking card, man. This is actually a sick card versus Uras Medic, I'm going to call him. I'm going to go with Jeff Neal on this one. Jeff Neal kind of fell off a little bit of a cliff. I feel like the pinnacle of Jeff Neal's career was losing to Shavkat Rakhmonov in a fight where everyone was thinking, oh, Jesus Christ, Shavkat's a fucking beast. Shavkat is absolutely insane. Shavkat's never really going to lose. And he was just on this tear of finishing people. And even though Jeff Neal put up a really good fight, he put up a hell of a fight, he still got standing rear naked choked. And that's where I'm kind of thinking, fuck, Jeff Neal was probably never that good. He had a very close fight with Ian Gary. Am I the only one that thinks Ian Gary's still yet to fight the top echelon? I know he fought Bilal Muhammad. Not the top echelon, sorry. I completely take everything I said back. He hasn't fought some of the stylistically most dangerous fighters and kind of came out looking absolutely amazing. Okay, he fought Carlos Prates. He put on like a Strickland for 4 rounds and nearly got finished in the 5th, but he looked very good in the first 4 rounds. He danced on Carlos Prates on short notice, which is exceptional. But then again, he lost to Shavkat. He made Shavkat look human, which is bullshit. Jeff Neal made him look human. And I don't know. I don't know, man. I don't think Ian Gary... I think JDM still beats him. I do. I think Leon Edwards could even beat him. I'll be real, bro. I think Leon Edwards could even beat him. Ian Gary's not going to knock him out, let's be honest. But this fight, I think Jeff Neal's forward pressure is going to be able to get the job done here. Maybe the counters might work in Jeff Neal's favour. Uras Medic, I I feel like Jeff Neal's got this one in the bag. I feel like experience is a big one. Jeff Neal's been in there with the likes of Shavkat, Ian. You know what I mean? Like, he's been very good. I want to see Jeff Neal versus Kevin Holland. It's like Kevin Holland versus Neil Magny. I kind of feel like that fight should have happened a long time ago. But the welterweight division's good. I feel like Jeff Neal's kind of like a Dan Hooker of the welterweight division. You know, he might go on like a number one contender fight run against a Shavkat or an Ian Gary, but he kind of just always falls short. I feel like Jeff Neal will get this one done. And as regards, like, Shavkat might not be coming back to the division, so that kind of sucks. So, but then again, you have MVP versus Sam Patterson at welterweight. Could have easily done MVP versus Joaquin Buckley. Like, where's Buckley? Buckley's been out over a fucking year. Not over a year, sorry. He's been out for a couple of months. And, like, where's Joaquin Buckley? You know, he beat the fucking shit out of Colby Covington. We all love that. Colby Covington's no longer, shouldn't even be ranked. Okay, Colby shouldn't even be a ranked fighter. He's not that good. He had a good run there, beating like RDA in a 48-47 close decision, where RDA was taking him down as well. Let's not forget that. And, you know, the highlights of Colby Covington's career is losing to Kamaru Usman in you know, getting chinned in one of them and losing in a clear decision. As much as that was an incredible fucking first fight, that shit was absolutely insane. That's one of my favorite fights ever. Colby's like bit like Ian Gary, where like like Ian's like paraded around that he lost to Shavkat, which makes no fucking sense. But I'm going to go with Jeff Neal. Forward pressure. I'm going to go with Jeff Neal via decision on this one. It's a good fight. Yeah, it's gonna be a good fight. That'll be a decent scrap. Next up, Ige versus Costa. Costa versus Dan Ige. Dan Ige is kind of one of those guys. I always thought Dan Ige was one of those guys that hit hard, was kind of very basic. Melisquez Costa, I'm going to go with Melisquez Costa on this one. I feel like he's a little bit more, he's fresher, he's more hungry. He's definitely got more speed on his side. And I definitely think he's going to be able to find the range with Dan Ige at moments. And I feel like he'll be able to get inside the pocket and be able to land some damage there and implement grappling as well. But Dan Ige is kind of one of those guys. You have to be taking out Dan Ige to even get a slither of getting the top entrant onto the division. Dan Ige is kind of just like the definition of a gatekeeper. I think if you look at gatekeeper in the dictionary, I genuinely believe that you would find, or you would find Dan Ige. But if you look at what's the definition of gatekeeper in ChatGPT, I guarantee you ChatGPT would post a picture of fucking Dan Ige. Like, it's absolutely insane. Costa's fresher. Costa's going to be way quicker in this fight. I think he's going to be able to land the damaging blows. I think he's going to get this one done via decision. Dan Ige is extremely hard to finish. Dan Ige is a stud, though. Like, coming in there and taking the third round on Diego Lopez on such short notice is absolutely insane. And, you know, for Diego Lopez, it's going to be a long road back to getting a title shot, because that's what happens when you get gifted a title shot so quickly. You know, you're 2 or 3 years down the line. That's why I think people like Peter Yan are so exceptional, that they were able to go back to the drawing board, make the improvements, come back and win the belt in even more dominant fashion. And that just, like, exerts your confidence even more. Like people like Yan, just, you know, they took the time to make the improvements. They weren't rushing back in and kind of, especially with Lopez's style, where he's just kind of hoping to go in there and land a big bomb. But like someone like Yan is much more precision. He's slow starter. He's a slow starter. He even took that risky ass 3-round fight. Remember that one? Like, real Yan fans were worried. Simply because Yan in a 3-rounder against anybody is dangerous, considering that he might lose the first round. But Dan Ige is on the end of his career. Costa is kind of on the come up. I feel like Costa is going to get this one done. Much more sharp, like I said. Much more just fluid. I think he moves a lot better than Dan Ige, especially at this stage of Dan Ige's career. So I'm going to go with Costa on that one. That's a good scrap. I look forward to that. It's going to be a good one. Sergey Spivak versus Antel Delia. I don't know why I butchered that so bad. I'm going to go with Sergey Spivak on this one. The recent news of Jailton Almeida being cut from the UFC has brought me numerous amounts of joy in my life, simply because I think that style is absolutely everything we have to go against in MMA, like every single thing. And I'm so glad the UFC did it. Muhammad Makayev as well. Perfect. Get them out of the UFC. Sergey Spivak isn't exactly up there either. Sergey Spivak is boring in ways. I'm going to pick him in this one. I think he'll be able to just get the grappling. I think he's going to be able to get Ante down. And I'm going to call him Ant because it's funny. I think he's going to get Ant and Deck down over here. And the heavyweight division is so weird because Tom's eyes are still fucked. I definitely think we could see Pereira versus Gan is going to be maybe happening. I don't know. Probably will happen. probably will happen. Cyril Gane just spamming unlimited fucking title shot glitch. I hate it. I hate it. I hate people that spam the one win until unlimited title shot glitch. It needs to be nerfed. It needs to be vaulted. It needs to be nerfed. It needs to get removed from the server. If you lose, it's out of fight. You need to at least win 3 fights, or at least it has to be at least 2 years before you get right back in there. It's bullshit, to be honest with you. I think it's an absolute disgrace. But the heavyweight division's in a weird state. John Jones might come back and fight Pereira as well at the White House card. Not 100% sure. Alex Pereira has kind of 2 options. But Carlos Ulberg is still there. No one really is talking about Carlos Ulberg. But Pereira has kind of like Ulberg, which isn't really going to happen, let's be honest with you. John Jones and Cyril Gane. And I think as UFC fans, as a UFC fan, I think Cyril Gane versus Alex Pereira is like the biggest fight that they can do. Like as regards stylistically pleasing. Because Jones is he's just going to go in there and sit on him. Let's be honest with you here. Pereira might be able to get it done, but I'm not going to be betting on it. I wouldn't sit here and say Pereira's just too small, man. Jones is too big, man. I don't think Jones is moving too well to be fighting at the White House. So if I was going to bet, it would be Gane versus Pereira. But the heavyweight division is in a good spot. Once we get Big T back, Tom Aspinall is the undisputed champion, the deserving undisputed. Has been for a long, long time. Has been for 2 and a bit years. Heavyweight's good, man. Heavyweight's fucking good. Jacob Smith versus Joshua Harrell. I'm going to go with Jacob Smith on this one. Good to see 2 undefeated fighters taking this one on. Both welterweight rankings. Oh, my bad. So it's going to be interesting to see how this one falls. I think Jacob Smith's just a little bit more fluid, a little bit quicker, a little bit more sharp. I think he's got a little bit more power in his punches. And I think he's going to be able to get this one. This is actually a really good scrap. I actually really like this one. You know, Josie's very good. I feel like his grappling is improving a lot. I think his grappling is much more... Like, if we look at the... I'll move you here and we can kind of look at this. If we look at the significant stats and the grappling, you know, takedown average is 7.42. Takedown accuracy is 90%. I don't know. This guy must... Dude, this guy just doesn't even throw fucking shots here, apparently. But, you know, J.K.B. Smith is dangerous on the ground. 100% takedown defense as well, which is absolutely insane. And I'm gonna go with J.K.B. Smith on this one. Once he starts landing some ground and pound as well, when he gets him down, I think J.K.B. Smith's going to be a little bit too sharp for him. I'm going to go with him on that one. It's a good scrap. Yeah, so Zach Reese versus Michel Pereira. This is a fucking scrap, man. I really like this fight. Michel Pereira kind of fell off a little bit of a cliff, if I'm being honest with you, because I had such like high hopes for Michel Pereira with the spinning back shit, and I remember him versus Ponzinibbio was booked, and I was just like, that is a scrap. That is a scrap. And Michel Pereira kind of just fell off a little bit. I feel like when he lost to was Anthony Hernandez, when he lost to Fluffy, that's when I was kind of like, okay, you're a bag of tricks. You're a bag of tricks, but you have nothing concrete. You don't have great takedowns. You're just a flash in the wind. And I don't really like saying that about Michel Pereira because I actually really like him. But it's true, bro. It's fucking true that Michel Pereira is just is lightning in a bottle. Let's be honest here. I feel like he'll get this one done against Zach Reese. I don't really think Zach Reese is all that good. I think Pereira's kind of style will actually work quite well in this. I think he'll get away with the flashy shit. I think he'll get away with the spinning back kick against the cage, and he'll be able to find Zach Reese with the range. And I feel like he'll TKO him with a knee up the middle or something like that, or a flying knee, or maybe like a nice spinning back kick or something, or back fist, I should say. That's why I'm going to go with Michel Pereira against Zach Reese. Yeah, but middleweight's in a weird spot. To be honest with you, it's kind of like the main event of just like, Khamzat's so much better than everyone. And it's ridiculous. He's so much better than everyone that I'm just kind of like bored. Like Fluffy versus Strickland, such a good fight. Like Zach Reese versus Michel Pereira is a great fight. But in my head, I'm just like, fuck, you're not beating Khamzat. It's just impossible to beat Khamzat at this stage of his career. So yeah, I'm gonna go with Michel Pereira on this one. And the fact we have Vassin and Imavov fighting for the belt next is quite worrying, simply because I think Imavov is so basic. I think he gassed out in the second round against Brendan Allen, which gives me absolutely no confidence that he is the gas tank to go 5 rounds. Not to stuff all the takedowns of Khamzat. He's going to gas quicker than Khamzat gasses. That's what I think. And I think he's an absolute disaster of a style for Imavov. He's fucked. But you can't deny him. You have to give him the opportunity. He's earned it, man. He's earned it, in fairness to him. So, yeah, this... Ode Osborne is on this card. Jesus. Carlos Lila versus Chid Nakanji, if these will load. Quick fire predictions for the prelims. I'm gonna go Carlos Leal on this one. I think he's a little bit too sharp. I think he's gonna be able to get this one done. I feel like his significant strikes are just, he's gonna land a little bit more with his hands. I think he's gonna be able to knock out Cheetah in the second round. Ode Osborne. Jesus, man, that's a fucking OG name. Ode Osborne's gonna get smacked the fuck up in this fight, and he's gonna get finished in the first round. Alden Correa versus Luis Gorilla. I'm going to go with Luis Gorilla on this one. I think he's way too quick. Flyweights are always sharp as fuck. I feel like he's going to be able to get this one done via first round TKO. He's just going to catch him with a left hook, is my opinion. Jocelyn Edwards versus Nora Corina. Who cares? Let's be honest, boys. No one really cares. Philip Rowe versus Jean-Paul Labassian. I actually seen him. I think I was in the Contender series. 1-0 is crazy. 1-0 is fucking crazy. Philip Rowe was getting absolutely violated here. I had chats with Philip Rowe in the DMs before, actually. I'm going to go with Jean Paul on this one. I don't think they're going to chuck someone in who's 1-0 in the UFC in the deep end and expect them not to swim. I'm sorry, he's going to get that. I missed this one, by the way. I did not mean to click your name, boss. I'm going to go if it'll just... Oh my god, Jordan Levitt's on this fucking card. I'm going to go with Ramiz on this one. I think he's going to be a little bit too sharp on the feet. I feel like he's going to be able to get this one done. I'm going to move myself down a little bit there. Apologies for that. And then Jordan Levitt. That's the name now. He's at the featherweight division. Jordan Levitt got really not even hyped. He kind of had like beef with Paddy Pimblett before. I'm going to go with Jordan Levitt on this. And Jordan Levitt was so fucking gay. He was so gay, bro. The whole Paddy Pimblett build-up. He's got like a wife and kids, so he's not actually gay, which is why I can say. But he was just so gay, man. He's just so gay, man. Nothing wrong with that, YouTube. Nothing wrong with that. I'm going to go Jordan Levitt decision on that one. And this one, I'm going to go with Juliana Miller. I think she's just a little bit better. Another women's flyweight fight that's dead. But Sean Strickland versus Anthony Hernandez is the main event. Sean Strickland versus Anthony Hernandez is the fight we're all looking for. I want to actually talk a little bit about the middleweight division. So we have Izzy versus Pfeiffer, which is going to be a good scrap. I'm expecting Adesanya to get that one done. But what kind of incentive are we looking at as UFC fans to look at the middleweight division and think, fuck, like, are we really sitting here saying, do you actually believe at home that either of these two cause a threat to Khamzat Chimaev? Do you think Nassim Imavov is going to give Khamzat Chimaev a run for his money? And I can guarantee you, if you're genuinely being honest with yourself, looking at Khamzat's track record, looking at what he did to Dricus, you're going to sit there and say no. I don't think Sean Strickland has a style to beat Khamzat. As much as I think his wrestling is good, or his takedown defense is good, I think Khamzat Chimaev is the best wrestler in UFC history. I think he's the most dominant force that we have ever seen come out of any country ever. And I don't think we saw how good of a wrestler he was up until he actually was spamming takedowns against a defending champion. Now, you have the argument to say Dricus was fucking shit and nobody had the good wrestling to get him down because middleweight is notorious for shit wrestlers. Middleweight has never, ever had good wrestlers. Marvin Vettori was the best wrestler in the middleweight division for a while. I remember like 4.5 years ago when he fought Adesanya in the rematch. Vittori was the best wrestler in the middleweight division at that point. We have like Brendan Allen and stuff like that, and that's not it. That's not it. For Dricus, Derek Brunson as well. If you want to see the lowest form of MMA, go back and watch Derek Brunson versus Dricus du Plessis. It was despicable. It was actually I felt sick. I felt sick watching that piece of shit fight on the John Jones versus Gang card. It was the worst thing I've ever seen. Diabolical. Didn't deserve to even be called a fight. It was actually just the worst thing I've ever seen. It was the worst thing I've ever seen, but it's an interesting one middleweight because I'm just the hype is just not there since we have such a dominant champion. If Khamzat was not there, I think middleweight would be class. I think Fluffy was in for a chance at the belt. I probably would lean towards Strickland having the belt in this moment of time. I think Brendan Allen is up there. But I think Brendan Allen is just too fucking stupid to win a fight when it really matters. Like, he's just like, oh, am I winning? Let's see if I can fuck this up. He cannot do it, boys. He just can't help himself.